Hello children, let me welcome you to the virtual class of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha teacher. Children, we are in the middle of this COVID-19 pandemic, and because of that we are not able to go to school, but that doesn't mean we are going to stop learning. So we are going to do many lessons which are very interesting from your textbook through the virtual class here. So let us do a lesson in English today.
So children, let us begin a lesson in standard 4th, subject English, and the topic for today is going to be a grammar lesson, children, but it is a grammar lesson from your textbook itself. Okay, and the name of the lesson is types of sentences. Now children, when we learn English, we have been learning letters of the alphabet A, B, C, D. Then we learned the words, and then we learned the sentences formed with words. Okay, now today we will see what are some types of sentences. Okay, sentences are also of different types. So in today's lesson we will see how many types of sentences are there in our lesson in the textbook, and also we will see what these types of sentences are. We will try to understand their meaning well, and we will also try and see many examples of the various types of sentences. So come on, let's go and start with the types of sentences. We can also call them kinds of sentences. So first we will take a look at the exercise which is there in our textbook. So if you open your textbook and go to lesson number 17, part 2, where you are talking about writing letters, in that lesson you will see towards the end you have this exercise about sentences and their kinds. Okay, so let's see what kind of sentences they have given us in the textbook. So let us read the sentence. Students of class 4 greeted their teacher. So what kind of sentence is this supposed to be? It is a statement. Alright, and then let's look at the next example. Come here, Javed and Nisha. Okay, now let us look at the statement again carefully first. The first one, we'll look at it again very carefully. So you see it starts with a capital letter T-H-E-D. It starts with a capital T, and you also have a full stop at the end of the sentence. Alright, so that is one kind of sentence for you which we call a statement. Let's look at the next kind of sentence. Come here, Javed and Nisha. So what is this? Someone is asking or requesting or ordering Nisha to come to a particular place. So this is actually a command. You can also say a request. Alright, so the next kind of sentence is, what an opportunity. And then you can see a special mark over there, which is neither a comma nor is it a full stop. What kind of mark is that? It is an exclamation mark, and that is why we call these kind of sentences as exclamations, or we also call it as exclamatory sentences. Okay, and then we have one more kind of sentence, and should we end it with yours lovingly? So what is this? This is also a special kind of sentence with a special kind of mark at the end, and that is a question mark. So this kind of sentence is called as a question. So children, in this particular lesson we are going to talk about 4 kind of sentences. So we have a statement, we have a command or a request, you can also call it as an order. Then you have the exclamation, or you also call it as the exclamatory sentence, or you have the question. Okay, so come on, let us look at each of these sentences one by one. So the first one is a statement. So now what is a statement? A statement is called as a telling sentence. Telling means when it gives you some information, when it gives you certain knowledge. So a statement is a sentence which gives you certain knowledge. That means it tells the reader something. The statement gives you some information. It tells you something. So these kind of statements are called as statements. Okay, these kind of sentences are called as statements. Let us look at some examples. Okay, see, the ship sailed across the sea. The ship sailed across the ocean. What is this sentence? It is just giving you an example, or it is just giving you information about the ship. It is telling you that the ship sailed across the ocean. So that is why this sentence is an example of a statement. Okay, let us look at some special top points about the statement. So a statement starts with a capital letter. So see here, T-H-E, the starts with a capital T, and it ends with a period. A period means a full stop. So see, after ocean, O-C-E-A-N, you have a full stop. So you know that this is one statement. Okay, this is one sentence which had started with a capital and it has ended in a full stop. And this kind of sentence is giving you some knowledge. It is telling you something, and that is why it is called as a statement. Alright, so this is a very easy definition of a statement. Let us look at one more. Statements are sentences which tell you something and they end with a full stop. Very simple. So they give you some information and they end with a full stop. And they also begin with a capital letter. Don't forget that. Okay. So see, there are two simple examples of statements given here. Rainbows have 7 colors. They are beautiful to look at. So see, we have two statements here giving us information about a rainbow. So rainbows have got how many colors? 7 colors, and they are also very, very beautiful to look at. Okay, children, so these are all examples of statements, and we also looked at some easy meanings of statements. Moving on, let us go to our next point. So you have this example of a statement, very simple, very easy. I love my dog. Okay, so this is an example of a statement. It is giving you some information. See, it is starting with the capital I. I is the capital letter here. And after dog, you have a full stop. So it is meeting all the requirements of the statement. So this is an example of a statement. I love my dog. Let's look at the next example. Radha brushes her teeth twice a day. Radha is starting with capital R. Otherwise also Radha is a proper noun, children. So it is always supposed to start with a capital letter. Any proper noun will always start with a capital letter. So Radha brushes her teeth twice a day. Full stop. So this also is an example of a statement. One more. Amit's car is black. See, such a beautiful car, isn't it? And it is what color? It is black in color. So you are getting some kind of information. The sentence is telling you something about Amit's car. It is telling you that Amit's car is black in color. So it is an example of a sentence which is a statement. And there is a full stop also. Okay? So these are all examples of statements. The first kind of sentence that we have seen for the day. Let us move on and let us look at the second kind of sentence. That is a command. So what is a command? A command is a sentence that tells someone to do something, or to think about something, or to believe in something also. But most important is it tells someone to do something. So you are not, it is not giving the person some information, or it is not telling the person something. It is telling the person to do something. It is a kind of an instruction. It can also be a request. Okay? It can end with a period. Period means a full stop. Or sometimes the command can also end with an exclamation mark if it is very strong. If the command is really strong, then it can end with a exclamation mark as well. So come on, let us look at some examples. So see, bring me your paper. So someone is commanding someone. The teacher, for example, in the class, after you have finished your exam and you're not ready to give your paper to your teacher, time is up. So the teacher tells you, bring me your paper. So that is a command. Children, most of the times the way you read the English sentence is also important. Okay, now if this is a command, but if I am reading it as bring me your paper, then it is not a command. But if I say bring me your paper, then it is a command. When you're giving a command, your voice should be strong and your tone also should be proper. It should not sound rude. Okay, telling something to someone strongly and telling something to someone rudely is very, very different. So you should never be rude. You should tell something to someone strongly in a command. Don't be rude. But next is, please call your mom. Again, the teacher, if you have done something wrong in the class, can tell you, please call your mom. So when I'm putting the word please there, it could be a request, or it could be that you're simply being polite in what you're saying. You're not being rude at all. You're saying, please call your mom. You can say it sternly also. You can say it strongly also. Okay? So it is an example of a command. Next, go to the store now. See? Go to the store now. So you are instructing someone to go to the store. And look at the last one. I told you some of the commands can have an exclamation mark after them. That means you want to make a very strong point. So look at the sentence, put out that fire. So it is a very strongly said point. Okay, what will happen if you don't put out the fire? It will spread. It will cause a lot of damage. So when you are saying such a command, you will want to make it very strong to the listener. So will I say, put out fire, put out that fire? No, that doesn't have any weight in it. How will you say, put out that fire? Means you're being very, very strong when you're saying it. You are emphasizing it. That is why you need to put the exclamation mark. Okay, so this is the meaning of command, and these are all various examples of command. So what is a command once again? When you tell someone. So now this tell, you can write it as request also, you can write it as order also. To do something, or to think about something, or to believe in something. Okay, it can end with a period, that is, it can end with a full stop, or it can also end with an exclamation mark if the idea which you want to express is very, very strong, or something which is very urgent. Okay, let us look at some more examples of commands. Raise your hand is a command. See the way I am saying it. Don't just read what you can see. You also pay attention to the way or the manner in which I am saying these sentences. So how is it said? Will you say raise your hand? You'll say raise your hand. Then be quiet. Okay, it's a command. Be quiet. Next, sit down. Okay, next, stand up. So see, what are you doing? You're asking someone to do something. And please pay attention to the way the voice has been used. Alright? You should not be rude. You should not tell someone to sit down or to stand up or to raise their hand in a very rude manner. You should be very polite. But you should be stern also if it is a command. Alright? So this was about sentence type number 2 or sentence kind number 2, command. Moving on, let us look at the third kind of sentence. We call it as exclamation, or we also call it as exclamatory sentence. Now this sentence and the next one, that is question, are very, very easy to recognize. The reason is in an exclamation you will always see an exclamation mark at the end. Okay? Exclamatory sentence expresses great emotion or excitement, and it ends with an exclamation mark. So whenever a sentence ends with an exclamation mark, you have to just check once whether it is a command. If it is not a command, then it means it is an exclamatory sentence. Very simple. An exclamatory sentence expresses great emotion or excitement or joy or fear or anger, okay, and it ends with an exclamation mark. Look at the example. The house is on fire. See the way I said it? Okay, I am very excited and I am worried also because the house is on fire. So all the things which are there in the house might burn down. If there are people inside the house, they might get injured. So this sentence is an example of an exclamatory sentence. The house is on fire. Okay? So that is why I said the way you say a sentence is also very, very important. Now let's see some examples. So exclamatory sentence is a sentence that expresses strong emotion and it ends with an exclamation mark. Let us look at some examples here. See, look at the prisoner. Okay? He is a prisoner. Prisoner means he was in the jail. And imagine he is running away from jail. So what is he? He is very happy. So he is saying, I am free. See? Will he say, I am free? No, he will not say that. He will be very happy. He is expressing his joy and he is saying, I am free. So that is an example of an exclamatory sentence. Look at the second example. If you love someone too much, if you love your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, your grandfather, you love them too much. So sometimes you say, I treasure you. Treasure you means I love you a lot and you are very important for me. So that is an expression of love. So what will you say? You will say, I treasure you. Okay, so it is an example of an exclamatory sentence. Third example. You thought that someone will not win at all, but that person won. So what will you say? She actually won? So what are you saying? You're expressing your surprise because you never thought that that person will win. But she actually won. So you're expressing your surprise. And look at the exclamation marks, okay? Everywhere. Next, when someone is angry, what will you say? You're late again. Means I wanted you to come on time, but you're late again. So you're expressing anger. Alright children, so these are all examples of exclamatory sentences. Let us look at some more examples here. So we saw all these examples. Okay, now let us look at the next kind of sentence, and that is questions. So what are questions? Questions are those which have a question mark at the end. So you can see a question mark here, and when you want certain answers, then you will ask questions. So whenever you ask a question, it will give you an answer. So questions are kinds of sentences which will give you some or the other answer. Okay, so come on, let's see some examples of questions here. So a question asks the reader something. It begins with a question word. Now we will see very shortly what question words are. One more thing children, now you are in the 4th standard. As you go higher up, as you go to the higher classes, you will also see that questions are of different types, okay? But here we are going to look at the basic type of question according to the level of our class. So what is a question? A question asks the reader something and it begins with a question word. So what is an example of a question? What color is a dog? Is an example of a question. See, the way you ask a question also is important. You do not say, what color is the dog? That is wrong. When you ask a question, what do you ask? What color is the dog? So the way you tone your sentence is also important. Some information about the question. It starts with a capital letter and it ends with a question mark. So children, according to me, from my experience, questions are the easiest kind of sentences. Alright? Why? because if you see a question mark, you can blindly say that it is a question. For an exclamatory sentence, you have to at least check whether it is not giving a command. Okay, but for a question, if there is a question mark, then 101% it is a question. So it is very easy to recognize this kind of a sentence. Let us move on and let us see certain examples. I told you questions always start with question words. So which are the question words? Who, what, when, where, why, how. These are all the question words. All these words are the question words. Okay? Let us see some examples of questions. Who is that woman? So there are three things that we are going to notice here. One is it starts with a capital letter W. It starts with a question word who, and it ends in a question mark. Okay, so these three things we're going to check in all the question examples. Next, where are my boots? So see, it starts with a capital letter W in where. It ends with a question mark, and also where is a question word. Okay, next, why are you late? So you're getting angry with someone and you're saying, why are you late? Again. So here it starts with the question word why. It also starts with a capital letter and it ends in a question mark. So children, today we saw what are the 4 types of sentences or kinds of sentences, and we also saw various examples for the types or kinds of sentences. Now let us do some exercises for today. Okay, whenever you learn a point, it is always necessary to check whether we understood, isn't it? And to check, we always do exercises. So now I request you to pause the video here for a minute and read the sentences and try to figure out the answers, and then come back and play the video again so that you can check your answers with mine. So let us read the sentences first. How awful means how bad. Okay. Next, be careful, the floor is very slippery. Next, I'm not feeling very well today, so I'm staying at home. Next, did you enjoy your school trip to the museum? Okay. What kinds are these now? Is it a question? Is it a command? Is it a statement or an exclamation? So come on, let's take the first one. How awful. So what is it? It has got an exclamatory mark. It is an exclamation. Be careful, the floor is very slippery. What are you doing? You're telling someone to be careful. Why? Because the floor is slippery. If you're not careful, you might fall. So you're telling someone to do something. So it is a command. I'm not feeling very well today, so I'm staying at home. So you're informing, telling someone that you're not feeling well, so you're staying at home. So what is it? This kind of sentence is a statement. The last one. Did you enjoy your school trip to the museum? There is a question mark at the end. So obviously it's a question. Okay children, so this was one exercise. Now let us take one more exercise before we wrap up the lesson for today. Again, I give you the same instruction. Pause the video for a few minutes. Try to read all the sentences and try to figure out what kind or what type of sentence they are. Okay, then you can come back and check your answers. So which are the sentences? Let us read them. My teacher is nice. Is my teacher nice? Eat your vegetables. Your teacher is nice. The squirrels gather hazelnuts. Do the squirrels gather hazelnuts? Gather those hazelnuts. The squirrels gather nuts. See the tone, see the way in which I have said these sentences, and try to ascertain whether they are exclamations or whether they are questions or whether they are statements or whether they are commands. Okay? So come on, now let's check the answers that you have figured out. First one, my teacher is nice. So you are giving some information, you're telling something to your reader. So what is it? It is a statement. Okay? Is my teacher nice? What is it? What can you see towards the end of the sentence? A question mark. So this is a question. Eat your vegetables. What are you doing? You're asking someone to do something. What? You're asking someone to eat the vegetables on the plate. So it is a command. Look at the next sentence. Your teacher is nice. What is it towards the end? There is an exclamation mark. But are they asking someone to do something? No. They're just telling you that the teacher is nice, and it is a strong emotion. You're very happy that your teacher is nice. So it is an exclamation. Look at the next one. The squirrels gather hazelnuts. It is just an information. It is telling you something about the squirrels, that they gather hazelnuts. So it is a statement. Do the squirrels gather hazelnuts? Is a question. Why? Because there is a question mark towards the end, and also it is asking for some information. Gather those hazelnuts. Someone is asking someone else to gather those hazelnuts. So it is a command. You are asking someone to do something, you're commanding someone to do something. It is a command. Finally, the last sentence. The squirrels gather nuts. So you're telling it with great joy, and you're loving the idea that squirrels, what do? They gather nuts. Okay? So it is an exclamation. So children, we saw two examples of each type of sentence, and see, I have tried to repeat the same words. Teacher, nice, alright, squirrels, gather, hazelnuts, and I've tried to put it into different types of sentences so that you know that the meaning of a sentence can change according to the marks that you're using, and also according to the way that you say it in spoken English. Alright children, so this was lesson number 17, the grammar part from it, that is kinds of sentences. We saw, according to the textbook, there are 4 kinds of sentences. We looked at each kind of sentence, that is a statement, a question, a command, an exclamation. We saw the meaning of all these types. Alright, we also saw the examples, and finally towards the end we also did a few exercises to see whether you have really understood how to find out the difference between different kind of sentences.
So children, now you have watched the video. So after you watch the video now, you will have to complete a few simple tasks. Now you might have watched the video on your computers or your laptops or your mobile phones. Now after you watch the video, what will you do? You will please go to the description box which is given below the video. So what is the description box? See, the description box looks like this. Alright, and after you go to the description box, you will see that there are a few questions there. Now what are these questions about? These questions are about the lesson that we just learned or the video that you just watched. So what will you do? You will think back properly about the lesson and you will try and answer these questions. And note down the answers in your notebook if you want. Okay? After that, we have another task waiting. You will also click on the link which you will find in the description box to fill up the Google form. So now what is the Google form, children? It is nothing but a simple form There are a few simple questions there about the video which you just saw and also about yourself. So, these are the tasks now that you will have to complete after you watch each video. So children, wasn't that a very interesting lesson? I'm sure you learnt a lot of new things in this lesson. If you have liked this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my video so that you will get to see all the videos which I keep posting regularly.